Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afkher, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. So, as always, happy to have you with us, whether live or on the replay. And also really excited and really happy that Patrick Prohaska is back on the show. He joined us many times before. The last time it was last season. And yeah, every time we receive really great feedback about you, those who attend. Um, and really, it's how to say, like both the guidance, the information and wisdom that he shares. Um, they are very inspiring, very powerful, and that guidance really help us to understand what's going on in our life personally, but also collectively. And I really love how he invites us to see things from a different perspective and also from a deeper level, because many times when we want to shift something, when we experience a challenge, maybe we feel stuck by just wanting to fix it or to change it. But when we have a deeper understanding of what's going on, it really helps us to move through that with grace and ease, but also to in a way that really helps us to connect in a deeper way to our true self, to our true power. And also with the energy healing that he does for us, it's been always powerful experiences that we've been having with him. So really happy that he is back. And for those of you who are new to him, he is a teacher, healer, and author. And he specializes in consciousness expansion and trauma recovery. And the subject today is purpose and impact. Embrace your divine mission and change the world. So yeah, he will be talking about that and how can we embody our divine mission and purpose, and also make an impact in the world, because we want to change our life, but also we want to contribute and co-create in our transformation, or our shift to new earth, to living in new earth and having a more heart-centered life for the collective. And yeah, so he will be talking about that, and also how can we manage the challenges, the setbacks, the lack of enthusiasm that we may have sometimes, whether from our own beliefs, or maybe sometimes that we can receive judgment from others, or maybe sometimes they don't believe in our gifts, in our purpose, and what we are here to create. So yeah, we'll be talking about different things, and it will be really inspiring, very powerful cause. So very excited about it. And also, as always, we will have a Q&A where you can ask Patrick your questions. So for that, if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing reaction, then raise hand. And if you are on the phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. And also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so with that, Patrick, welcome back to the show. Happy to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's always a joy to connect with you.
Wonderful. And yeah, in the beginning, I would love if you can tell us briefly about yourself. For those who are listening to you for the first time, they can have maybe more connection to you.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you so much. My name is Patrick Prohaska, and I am an energy healer and life coach, and I work primarily with sexual healing and personal empowerment, especially for people who have been marginalized. And I know a lot of people in this group, a lot of people who are going to be listening to this later, have felt marginalized through much of your life because you simply don't seem to fit in with everyone else who's around you. You know you're different. You know you have access to higher dimensional gifts that other people are unaware of. It's not that they're not capable of tapping into higher dimensionality themselves. It's that they're just ignorant that it exists. They're unaware of how it works, and therefore they never practice it. So you use a different set of tools to navigate this world than most people do. And quite often you feel like an outsider, and sometimes you actually are made to be an outsider. You're marginalized, you're treated like you're weird, you're treated like your opinions don't matter. Sometimes people call you crazy, and they tend to avoid you when family gatherings get together. So we all know what it's like to feel like an outsider. And a lot of the work I do is to help people, rather than try to conform to the world that we're living in, lean into the powers and gifts that you have that are unique to you so that you can transform the world that we live in. So that's primarily what my program is. I would say that each and every one of you has a purpose and a mission for being here. And if you're hiding behind a mask, if you're pretending to be somebody else that you're really not, just so that you can fit in with the herd, then you're never going to accomplish whatever your mission is. So the work that I do is primarily designed to coax people to step into their authentic power. And that's not something that I started doing automatically. I spent many, many, many years in that other world. I spent many, many years in the restaurant industry, and everything that I did was ego driven. It was all about working at the most prestigious restaurant that there was. It was all about working with the most famous celebrity chef that I could connect with. It was all about what um, celebrities were coming in through the door. And it really wasn't about me creating something of value in the world. And it was definitely not about me stepping into my own internal powers and higher dimensional gifts. So eventually, I left that entire rat race. In fact, I had a nervous breakdown because I was just doing too much, and there was too much drama, too much conflict, too much butting heads with big egos. And I eventually just left that industry pretty much altogether. I dabble in it from time to time now, but with a completely different mind frame and um, mindset than I had previously, completely different goals. So after I left the restaurant industry, I went into coaching and healing and energetics. I had done massage therapy. I had a degree in the religions of ancient India. I'd studied Ayurveda. I'd studied a number of different mystical traditions. But previously, I had done it all intellectually. And after my meltdown in the restaurant industry, I decided to just embrace all of that and pull it into my the way I interface with the world. And now I couldn't be happier. There's still bumps in the road, there's still setbacks. My computer died recently. That's still something that I need to deal with, but everything that I'm doing is no longer driven by the need for recognition and fame and bragging rights about who I know and so forth. And I couldn't be happier. Once all that energy is wiped away, then I'm free to direct that energy into actually making a difference in the world. And that's what I feel like I'm doing. It's very fulfilling. Yeah, so
Wonderful.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for the work you are doing, for sharing your gifts with the world, because your message is very important. What you shared now, it's something that is we all experience as empath, and we need that kind of guidance, that kind of support, so we can build that the self empowerment to feel more comfortable to be who we are. And
Yes.
yeah, so about the subject, because maybe many times we receive the questions, what is my purpose? What is my mission? So how do you define them? What is the difference between them? And
Oh, yeah.
how can we identify like,
I
um,
think it's really important to define these terms, because that way we're like halfway towards actually figuring out what they are for us. So, in my mind, your purpose is what you are here to experience yourself, what you're here to experience and learn in this lifetime. So, the reason that you came here for your own benefit or for your own education and so forth. So, for me personally, I believe that my purpose is to learn how to experience joy and how to embrace joy and invite it into my life. Your purpose is different than your mission, even though they're usually thematically the same thing. Your mission is what you're here to accomplish that impacts the lives of other people. So I said, my purpose is to experience joy. My mission is to teach others to experience joy as well, to spread joy as far and wide as I can. And remember earlier, I said that I used to be in the restaurant industry. The restaurant industry is one way to spread joy, but I was unsuccessful at doing that because I was so worried about my my reputation and who I knew and all the rest of that. So that's your purpose, your mission, and then there's the concept of your vocation. Your vocation is whatever it is you do, whether it's a profession, a career, a part time job, or a hobby that allows you to complete your mission. So for me, my purpose is to experience joy. My mission is to help others experience joy as well. And my vocation is Lightbridge, which helps me to teach other people how to tap into that energy as well. Um, and like I said, you don't need to have a vocation that is going to transform the entire world. I know a lot of people are driven to make a profound, dramatic change in the world. I would suggest that if you are driven to completely revolutionize the entire world, then that might be an ego driven goal that you have, that if enough people are working locally on creating change in the local environment and maybe reaching out beyond that a little bit, that's enough to transform the world. You don't have to do it all yourself. So, whenever you find yourself wanting to go it alone, to be the number one leader and so forth, just recognize that that might be your ego driving you and rein it in because it's going to slow you down. That's going to create more opposition, more friction, more difficulties. Yeah. So, one thing that I think is really important to understand with regard to purpose and mission, if there are certain missions that people embrace that involve creating specific transformations for other people or in the world. So I might say that my mission in this lifetime is to create order out of chaos or to heal people who are in intense pain or to um, create harmony where there's drama. So if you have one of those missions that involves transforming one thing into another, you just need to be aware of how that dynamic works energetically. If my mission in life is to transform chaos into order, if there's no chaos in my life, then my life is meaningless because I have nothing to do. So, what I end up doing if I'm in that situation is I invite chaos. I attract chaos. I attract drama and conflict and so forth. So I have something to work on so I can have the fulfillment of creating something new instead. So if your mission is transformative, that's truly an awesome thing. But you also have to realize that built into your drive to create order out of chaos is a need for chaos to exist. Because if there is no chaos, life becomes boring, life becomes meaningless, doesn't feel like there's anything to do anymore. And so you kind of shut down and stop doing anything at all. So just recognize that there is a difference between having a mission of that involves doing something and a mission that involves being something. If I had a mission of transforming chaos into order, and I spend my entire lifetime doing that, and then I'm tired after a while, and I don't want to invite more chaos into my life, so I have something to do, I would need to transform my mission into simply being a beacon of order. And I want to introduce a concept that I've haven't heard very many people talk about. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about it. It's the concept of what I call being um, an an energetic beacon, an energetic beacon that just transmits energy. That you simply being you, living your life on your terms and being content and happy and even joyful, that's enough to transform the world around you. You are broadcasting an energy that has an impact on other people, whether you do something or not. And I think ultimately that's the goal that we have. We come into this world, we work, we do things, we create things, we transform things, but then after a while, we grow into a place where we just simply exist as a radiant being, a radiant beacon. And then by you simply being joyful, you're actually transforming the world around you. So, just a couple of things to think about there. I know I've thrown in a couple of terms that make it a little bit more complex than maybe it needs to be, but that gives us a foundation to talk about here.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. That was very inspiring, and I loved how you described like what we attract in order to create something new.
Mhm.
And and my question is related that when the chaos keeps happening, it becomes more a pattern. Is it more we start considering it as the safety zone, so we feel safe in that kind of life, and we keep attracting the same thing over and over, or is
It
it more
is.
about yeah,
Yeah. So it's awesome to be a fixer, but being a fixer itself can become a problem after a while. Because if you feel like it's your responsibility to fix everyone around you or to heal everyone who's in a state of pain, then number one, that's just way too much for you to do by yourself. It's not your responsibility to help everyone everywhere. And number two, you, after a while, almost develop an addiction or a need for other people to be in pain so you have something to fix. So if you have the fixer personality, like I said, it's really awesome to help other people out in need. But if you're driven to help people out in need, then after a while, you're going to attract to you only people who need to be fixed. So this is the way law of attraction works. You might actually hate the mission that you have because it's overwhelming for you. If your mission is to create order out of chaos, then you have an internal drive to connect with people who are disordered. And then by the law of attraction, you begin to attract to you only people who have disorder in their lives. And then you get overwhelmed after a while and you get sick of everyone around you being so disordered all the time. Why can't I have one friend who just has it all together? Well, you're not attracting that one friend who has it all together because internally you're aligned with people who need to be fixed, people who have some brokenness to them. So it can become overwhelming if you have the type of mission that requires you to transform something. So, what I always advise people to do is just be gentle with yourself. You don't need to fix everyone everywhere. If there is disorder somewhere, sometimes you can recognize that it's not your responsibility to fix it. And then simply enjoy being in a state of harmony. And then after a while, you'll begin to attract into your life more people who don't need fixing. And then your job will become more manageable again, more joyful again. I've known a lot of energy healers who are completely burnt out by the number of um, um, traumatized people that are coming to them for help. And I've been there myself. I've been in many situations where I thought if I got one more email message from somebody in pain, I was going to shut down completely, and walk away and never come back. But primarily, that was because for a while in my life, the only people that I was attracting were people who needed healing for their pain. So just recognize you have a balance point. You don't have to do everything. You can be gentle with yourself. You can take time off from time to time if you want to. And you can choose what group of people you want to help and recognize that there will always be other people out there to help the people that are not on your list. So I don't know if that helps at all, but I do feel
Yeah,
like a
it
lot
does.
of people in this group right now are energy healers, maybe not professional ones, but pretty much everyone here is sharing energy with people in their family and their loved ones and their friends and so forth. And that gets overwhelming after a while.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, it does. And yeah, this is also related to what you mentioned earlier in the call about when the purpose becomes more ego-driven and we want to make a huge impact and on our own instead of co-creating
Mhm.
it, because we feel like responsible of what is happening. And also because there are lots of things happening in the world, like lots of shifts, and some things that we
Mhm.
don't understand or we feel resistant toward. So I would love also if you can tell us your
Yeah.
perspective about what's going on in the
Yeah.
collective level as well.
This is a really exciting time to be here. And it's also a kind of an overwhelming time to be here. So we are undergoing a very dramatic shift in consciousness as the human species. And we're shifting from an awareness that we live in a three-dimensional world and there are limited resources in this world, and everything is divided up into categories, and those categories are ranked in hierarchical order with each other, and that's all there is. So there's a deep sense of awareness that we do in fact live in physical bodies on a three-dimensional world subject to linear time, and then human bodies degrade over time and people die. So that's the awareness that we've had in the past. As we are continuing to evolve in consciousness, we're becoming aware that this three-dimensional reality is not all that exists. Every single one of you on this call right now has had higher dimensional experiences. Every single one of you has had a mystical experience that cannot be explained in terms of three-dimensional linear time and space. And because there are a lot of people in the world who think that the three-dimensional reality is all there is, when you talk about your mystical experience, you're treated like you're crazy or you imagined it or you're lying or you're scamming or something else like that. But we are evolving into a deeper awareness of the higher dimensional truths, and when you tap into higher dimensional awareness, you become aware of the different laws and principles that govern the flow of energy through the universe that are non physical in nature. You begin to recognize that the law of attraction does, in fact, exist, and that the energy that you're radiating out into the universe gets reflected back to you. You also become aware that you are actively creating your experience in the world through your thoughts, your beliefs, your judgments, your expectations, and so forth. And therefore, if you want to create change in the world, more and more people are becoming aware that they can create massive change in the world by simply changing their beliefs and their expectations and the energy that they radiate. And those new tools of creating change in the world don't make any sense whatsoever to to the people who are still entrenched in three-dimensional thinking. It's not that those people are inferior or they're slow or whatever. They just haven't had the consciousness expansion experiences that you've had. It doesn't make you superior to them. That would be a three-dimensional reaction and an egotistical reaction if you felt like you were better than people who are invested in the old three-dimensional way of doing things. But that having been said, the people that are invested in the old three-dimensional paradigm where everything is categorized and hierarchized, and for me to have more, other people need to be deprived. And that if other people have more of something, that means there's less left over for me. And then all the competition that grows out of that. That's the foundation of the capitalistic system that we used to live in and that we still live in now. There are lots and lots of people who are deeply, deeply invested in that worldview, especially when they feel like they are threatened if other people gain more rights or more power or more wealth or whatever. So there's almost a battle that's kind of unfolding right now where all of you are growing in consciousness. All of you are coming into harmony with those internal tools of creation that you know exist for you. And other people don't like you using those tools because they're invested in the old way of doing things. So, your mission, one of your goals in this lifetime, has something to do with helping this transition unfold in a way that is for the best and highest purpose of everyone involved. So you're a way shower. You are ideally a radiant beacon that you can just demonstrate to the world how you can create harmony in your life simply by changing your inner thoughts, beliefs, and judgments, and so forth. So I think that's the grand scheme that we're involved in right now. This transition that's taking place, it's the transition from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. It takes hundreds of years to unfold. And the more people kind of tune into their inner power, the faster it will unfold. The more people stay invested in the old way of doing things, the slower it will unfold. But it will unfold one way or the other, you know. So, so evolution is not being stopped. So just recognize that you have a role in that, and that your life matters. The change that you make in the world is very, very important. And there's joy and fulfillment to be had in that. Yeah, so I don't know, did that answer the question or did I kind
Yeah,
of,
yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you did. Yeah, I love your answer, and it really explains what's going on, and especially when we feel judged by others, and also like for those who are mainly focused on the 3D aspects of the human experience, also they are mainly focused on just part of the creation process, which is just doing. But you talk also about like there is like the purpose of doing and purpose of being. So I would love if you can tell us the difference between both of them.
Yeah, yeah, the purpose of doing and being. So this really does connect with what I was talking about earlier, that if your purpose is to transform something dark into something light, then you need the darkness in order to be fulfilled. And that if you don't have that darkness, then your life is going to feel meaningless. And what's the point? And why am I even here? And you'll want to end things sooner rather than later. So when you're in that state of doing, you need something to do in order to maintain your happiness. And I think that if you come here and you do some transformation, you make some changes in the world, after a while you're allowed to hang up your hat. After a while you're allowed to say, okay, I've done my part. Now I'm just going to be the energy that I've been seeking all this time. And that's where I brought in that concept of being a radiant anchor, that you kind of anchor in a certain energetic pattern and you broadcast it out to the world. And that begins to cause people to come to you. People are attracted to you who are a match for that energy rather than being a match for the opposite dark energy. You begin to attract into your life people who are like minded, who don't need to be fixed, and who want to amplify your energy rather than use your energy to transform themselves. So, these radiant anchors that I'm talking about, and I think everyone will eventually become one, you just simply magnify the positive energy that's out there. And after a while, it becomes blinding to people who are stuck in the old way of doing things, and that um, speeds up evolution. So I know I'm speaking kind of esoterically here. I do like to bring things back down into practical matters. And practically speaking, what I would like everyone to simply catalog for themselves, just be aware of the energetic patterns that are in you and just recognize if you have some sort of internal drive that causes you to attract into your life people who are chaotic, dramatic, or broken. And is that fulfilling for you? And just recognize that, maybe it's time to move beyond that if that's the pattern that you have. So, yeah,
Yeah,
um, yeah,
beautiful. Thank you so much, Patrick. And do we take questions from the audience, or would you
yeah, I'd
like to share?
love to
Okay.
take questions. Yeah,
Okay. All right. So reminder, everyone, if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing React, then raise hand. If you are on the phone, you can press star 9, and also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. So Cheryl, can you please unmute yourself?
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for having me. Basically, I was just wondering, there's just so many different areas of my life that I can see things playing out. And I'm just wondering, um, I've been trying to play with consciousness, expanding it. And I'm just wondering if there's something either in this lifetime from my past that needs some sort of healing. And it doesn't matter what area it's in. It could be money, relationships,
yeah.
living. Um, it could be anything really.
Yeah. So what I'm picking up from you is that you have actually dabbled in consciousness expansion many times in the past, not just in this lifetime, but in previous lifetimes. But there were experiences that you had that were scary because they happened spontaneously and you didn't have any idea what was going on. So there are some mechanisms that I see in you that are designed to put the brakes on your mystical awareness. There's a part of you that's really fascinated and is craving that type of experience because you've had it before and you want more of it. But
Yes.
then there's another dimension of you that has a whole list of potential dangers. Like you'll
Mm.
get lost, you'll lose your mind, you'll get stuck there, people will think you're crazy, you'll be institutionalized against your will, you'll be attacked and maybe even killed. And then also there's an element of fear about simply not being able to protect yourself as you go into this unknown environment that you,
I'm
yeah,
only laughing because everything that you're saying is are literally things that I've thought before. So
yeah.
it's like really what you're saying is making sense.
Yeah, so all of these are blocking you. And in addition to that, magnifying those blocks is literal traumatic residue, traumatic memories of when you were either shunned or kind of pushed aside or put in a mental institution because of your different viewpoint on the world and you talking about your mystical experiences and so forth. So we want to clear away for you and for everyone else on the call, want to clear away the traumatic residue left over from previous lifetimes and maybe even this lifetime where something bad happened as a result of you expanding your consciousness, and bring in a deep awareness that it's actually safe for you to do this. And it's actually becoming safer all the time because more and more humans are embracing the experience of consciousness expansion.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think there's also something about being accused of being on drugs that's playing out here as well. So it's just kind of clear all that trauma away
Okay.
and
Yeah, I'm not.
bring in a deeper sense of safety, and especially for you, an awareness that whenever you travel into higher dimensional space, you are in control and you can come back anytime that you want on your terms.
Okay.
So you will not get lost. You will not get trapped. You will not be attacked by dark energies that
Oh,
are seeking, random victims that just stumble into their space.
okay.
And that if you are in an energy of radiant light as you go into your meditation or whatever that takes you into higher dimensional space, you can choose where you go. And you don't need to go into those pockets of dark energy where opportunistic entities are waiting.
Okay.
And you also have a fear based on experience of hop-ons, dark energies that just kind of attach themselves to you when you're in there and they ride you like a bus into this reality. Yeah, we don't
Right.
want that.
No.
And any other fears about what would happen. Now, there's something else going on with you. I don't want to take a whole lot of time here, but there's also a profound fear of contagion. There is a very deep fear that I can feel inside you, maybe based on a past trauma, where if you were to pick up on dark energy in the higher dimensional space, that you would infect people close to you with that dark energy. And therefore, you would be guilty of hurting other people in the here and now because of your spiritual growth. So, we want to
Oh,
clear all
wow.
that away for everyone as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And bring in a deeper awareness for you and for everyone else that you are autonomous, and that if you declare it so, your personal space and your energy cannot be violated without your permission.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I can just see situations where you've been told that it's dangerous to meditate or dangerous to go through a portal into an alternate dimension, um, because you'll bring something back. It's
Okay.
really, yeah.
Not
Okay,
helpful.
take a deep breath. Yeah, everyone take a deep breath and hold it for a moment and release. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I just know there's just so much there, but I just don't have the awareness of what it is. And
Hmm.
I really appreciate you greatly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Cheryl. And thank you, Patrick, for the guidance. And we have a question from Annette. She wrote, how do I control my energy frequency patterns?
Yeah. Well, I think, gosh, that's a massive question. The first thing is there's this concept of what I call meta healing, um, that involves your belief systems about how energetic patterns work on you, at the foundation. So First of all, what we need to establish for you and for everyone else is a firm belief that it's possible for you to control these things, that you can control your energy. And part of what I'm sensing with you is that there's just a feeling that not only do I not know how to do it, it's not even possible. That there's nothing I can do that will allow me to have mastery over the energy that I radiate. So we want to clear that belief away right away. So let me go a little bit deeper with this because it's a very surface layer. Okay. So the most important thing for you and for a lot of other people here is the elimination of hypersensitivities and triggers, because you may be fully in control of the energy that you're radiating, but then something will trigger you that you have absolutely no control over. And it's as if you've stepped on a landmine. It just blows up and knocks your energy into a different pattern. And these triggers and the hypersensitivities that go with them are all associated with previous traumas that you've had in the past, and so forth. In fact, I feel like with you that these triggers are often used against you. People know how to push your buttons because they know what your triggers are, and that drains your energy. So the best way or the most important thing you need to do in order to gain mastery of your internal energy is to identify those things that cause you to lose control of your energy. And they're usually triggered reactions. Um, so we could work one on one individually to figure out what those triggers are and release them. But let's just do a cleansing for everybody here, that if there are any triggers that you have that are based on trauma that cause you to instantly lose your control of energy, let's clear them away right now. And the most common type of trigger is the outrage trigger, that you can be in a harmonious energy and be radiating that harmonious energy in such a way that you are attracting to you your deepest desires. But then you'll see a post on Facebook, or somebody will tell you something horrible that happened in the world, or somebody will make a comment about a politician you don't like. And then you're instantly triggered into outrage by what you've heard. And that will become part of the energy that you're radiating. Yeah. Now, it's also very important to realize that I'm not saying that negative emotions are inherently bad and you should never feel a negative emotion. What you're searching for is control over the internal energy that you radiate. So when you do feel a negative emotion, you ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? You get the message and then you move on. So if you're feeling angry about something, instead of allowing that anger to mushroom into rage and then radiating rage energy into the universe, you look at the anger and say, okay, what is it that needs to be fixed? What is this anger telling me? Anger is actually a good emotion because it motivates you to take action to fix something that's annoying you. But the problem is, very few of us ever feel anger on that level. We allow it to mushroom into rage. And then at that point, we've lost control of it. Anger is something that you feel that motivates you to take action. And then the anger is gone because you now know what needs to be done. So just kind of want to bring people into deeper harmonic alignment with their own uh, emotional guidance system. Okay, beautiful. Now, everyone take a deep breath and hold it for a moment and release when you're ready. Okay. Now, Yeah, thank you, Annette, for asking that question. I do want to do one little follow-up on that. The notion of shame. Shame is, quite often we're told that shame is, there's absolutely nothing good about shame. It must all be purged and eliminated. But shame is, when you feel shame in its basic level, it's basically just a message that you're stepping on somebody else's toes and you need to check yourself. But the problem is, shame has been weaponized, and we've all had shame used against us in order to make us change our behavior or conform to somebody else's agenda and so forth. And shame, just like the energy that I was talking about earlier with the previous caller, shame has this kind of contagious element to it, that if you've done something shameful, you've shamed your entire family. So we need to recognize that shame, just like all the other basic emotions, it does have value. And we need to kind of come into a place where we can feel the shame and then just let it go after we fixed whatever it's trying to tell us. Yeah. And that brings us into the whole, I don't want to go there today, but like I said at the beginning, most of the work that I do, a lot of the work that I do is in sexual healing. And the way shame has been weaponized against people in terms of sexuality and the impact that has on people's lives is just profound and deep. It's a huge topic. So I do a lot of work with people on eliminating shame. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Yeah.
And also thank you, Annette, for your question. And yeah, we have more questions on both Zoom and YouTube. We will take them in a little bit. And before that, I would love if we can take some time to talk about the program that you are offering, which includes private session, one-on-one private session, 40 minutes, and also there is remote healing energy bath, daily blasts, 6 or 3 light bridge workshops, depending on which package, and also one of the light bridge harmonics. And I invite everyone to follow with us and visit the page yourdivineuniqueness.com/Patrick, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Patrick, PATRICK. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. So yeah, so Patrick, I would love if you can tell us about this program.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I have come to realize over time that what people really want and need is individual one-on-one work. So I've decided to make that the number one piece of package A. So there is a system that I've developed that's called Lightbridge. It's a system of healing and total personal transformation. And I use that in order to help people shift their belief systems about what's possible for them, shift all these subconscious blockages that stand in the way of you moving forward with your life, and then infusing you with energies of optimism, positive thinking, joy, and so forth that allow you to take action in the world. And what I'm offering in Package A is a one-on-one 40-minute light bridge healing session in which we can work on anything that you want to work on. It doesn't have to be chosen by me. It's your agenda that we work on. The session itself is 40 minutes, and it can be transformational. It's the type of thing where you're actively engaged in the healing process. You're not a passive participant. You're not just sitting back and absorbing energy and moving on. We actually do some serious work to get into your deepest blockages and figure out why they're there and let go of them. The second element of this is a while you sleep remote healing energy bath. And what we do there is we choose a time where you will be asleep, like at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then at that time, I go into meditation and I transmit to you an energy healing bath that lasts about 20 minutes. And you just absorb the energy. We do it all through a connection with your higher self. And it's your higher self that actually accepts and receives the energy and then distributes it wherever it needs to go. And the reason we do it while you're asleep is that's when your defenses are down. You don't have all these energy blockages in the way, and you're most open and receptive to receiving healing energy, even in areas that you consciously don't believe that you need healing or that you're trying to hide. So that's a powerful experience. And then you also get access to 3 of my Lightbridge workshops that I've held in the past: a deep sleep workshop, a manifestation mastery workshop, and an alignment with success workshop. And that's all the elements in package A. And then package B is all of that plus a few additional items. So in package B, what I'm adding is what I call the daily blast. And I go into meditation. I have a daily meditation. I do that every single day. And in my meditation, I set aside some time to simply broadcast unconditional love and healing energy to different people that are on my list. So this package B adds the daily blast, which is daily waves of healing energy for 30 days. So every day when I meditate, I'll just send you um, um, some energy. It will happen at different times every day. There's no set schedule for it. There's nothing you need to do except just be open and receptive. And some of you who are deeply attuned, you'll be going through your day, and then suddenly you'll feel a wave of energy hit you, and oh, Patrick's meditating right now. So I'm just going to absorb this. And then, in addition to the 3 workshops I mentioned before, there are 3 more workshops that are in package B: a lucid dreaming workshop, conscious breathing workshop, and muscle testing. So for package B, there are 6 workshops. And then in addition to all of that, I have a number of Lightbridge Harmonics audio packages that I've created in the past few years. I've got 5 of them, and you get to choose one of them for yourself if you get package B. So that's everything in package B. Now, if you already have all 5 of my audio packages, then we'll come up with something else for you. So don't worry about missing out on something. Okay, so
Wonderful.
yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for including the one-on-one session, and also for the energy hitting the remote one and the daily blasts, which can be very, very helpful, like on a daily basis, because many times, like we need some kind of support, like because the triggers can, when we during the one-on-one session we go very deep, but after that, it's during the transformation and healing session, having that kind of support can really help to integrate the energy. So thank you for including that, and yeah, including the workshops and the Lightbridge harmonics. And so again, everyone, you can sign up to one of these 2 packages on the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Patrick, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Patrick, PATRICK. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description, and the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. Wonderful. So can we take more questions?
Yeah, but before we do, I see that Annette is kind of urgently asking a follow-up question, and I think it's an important question. The question is, if you have a negative pattern inside you, how do you go about shifting it? And there are lots and lots and lots of different pathways for shifting energy. Affirmations is one way to do it. Reiki is one way to do it. The technique that I use is I basically work with your higher self to identify what the limiting beliefs are, and then replace them with something better. So you yourself have the power to make a change when you recognize a pattern that's negative. You can do it through affirmations, but that will take a long time. It's always good to have somebody else work with you to shift those beliefs. And you might not resonate with Lightbridge. I know some of you probably don't, and that's perfectly fine. But the fact is, there are lots and lots and lots of techniques out there that will help you shift those internal patterns. Hypnosis is very powerful for some people. And theta healing is very powerful for some people. I think Lightbridge is a really powerful system for doing this. So that's the technique. Um, how do you control your energy frequency patterns? Um, it takes practice. You can't just wave a magic wand and have a whole brand new energy. You have to identify what your triggers are. You have to identify what the traumas are. You don't have to relive them, but you do have to have an awareness of where the energy came from and then choose something different. So hopefully that helps a little bit with answering that question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Patrick. And let's see. Miriam, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? You look so relaxed.
Um, yeah, I'm very tired and grateful to be here because everything that you've shared felt very resonant and supportive to me. I love the reframing, especially in the beginning, with where we're at and where we're headed. And I'm so excited for all of us, for the ease and the grace and the lightness and the brightness that I know is here and will continue to unfold. So I want to acknowledge all of that. And in my situation, I have had some very debilitating chronic health challenges, as well as a recent car accident that created intense injuries. And I'm letting go of that, the ways that I could be tied and tethered or continuing to play a role as a healer, if you will, by not being well and able to go into these different facilitators and practices to give them feedback and assist maybe them going to the next level, so that if that truly is something that is supportive role for me to play, I can do it in a different way without needing to be in the pain and the suffering that I've been moving through. And or I know we know a lot of that is collapsing anyway, right? And
Yes.
it'll be interesting. I feel like that there'll be less need for a lot of what we've been doing to help one another because we just get to thrive and play. And I'm looking forward to that. And but for the here and now, I was asking my being, just in the last couple of days, what role or what's not allowing my well-being at this time. And one thing that came up was the fear of ascending. And I know you were talking about how we've had different experiences in past lives and or our lineage galactically that might not have gone smoothly, and or we're fearing that we're leaving someone behind, which is obviously not true. So I'm just wondering if you can, what you see and how you could assist me at this time.
Yeah, so you're actually pretty much right on target, but I want to adjust it slightly because I can see that there is an entire web of energy around you that is the result of unfinished business from previous lifetimes. So there's this feeling of there are things that contracts or whatever that you've had with other people that you were never in a position to complete, and somehow that unfinished business is tying you in this lifetime. And I don't know why that would be connected with physical pain and disability and car crash and all the rest of it, but I don't know, but let's do a clearing for everyone before we go a little bit deeper here. So for everyone who's on the call, If you are somehow shackled in this lifetime by unfinished business left over from previous relationships, and if it's the type of unfinished business that cannot reasonably be accomplished in this lifetime, let's let it go. Let's sever all of those ties left over from previous lifetimes where there's unfinished business. And usually that unfinished business is connected to family members. It emerges if you die too early in a previous lifetime and you still had things to do. And a lot of it is connected to promises that were made that you were never able to fulfill because of life circumstances or even death. Okay, so we want to release the burden of unfinished business. We also want to release the burden of any and all oaths and vows that are left over from previous lifetimes that are still impacting you now, such as monastic vows. And you yourself may have a monastic vow from some sect in the Middle Ages where physical pain was a pathway to spiritual expansion. Okay, a vow of suffering, a vow of poverty, a vow of service. Okay, a vow of always putting everybody else first, a vow of hard labor, and so forth. So we want to clear away any promises and vows that are impacting you in this lifetime. Okay, and then we also want to clear away some energies of like indentured servitude or slavery, where you were essentially treated like you're the property of somebody else. Because there's almost a contract built into that that says that you are property that belongs to somebody else, and therefore you don't have the freedom to live life on your terms. And if you try, you will be hobbled. Okay, so let's just clear all of that away for everyone. Okay. Okay, so I don't know if that's helping you at all, but it feels like that was necessary for the group. I do think that there was at some point a vow of life being difficult or suffering, as if suffering somehow gives life meaning. And suffering does give you the opportunity for having meaning in life, but suffering is not the only way to have meaning. Yeah. Okay. So tell me, is that helpful at all?
Well, I do know that when you mentioned belonging, like a contract where you're belonging to someone, that I, not too long ago, as I was journaling, got that message. She belongs to me. And I've felt that before when I would attempt to speak to God or source, that I was somehow connecting with a denser version of that energy that kind of like we learned somewhat in Christianity that we are children of God. And in a way, that does feel, especially when you look at Old Testament, but really all the way through, like a possessive thing. And I, at that point, as soon as I got that, I'm like, wait a minute, I am grateful to be part of creation, like from the one, the all. And yet I don't feel like I belong to anyone. That doesn't feel like the highest relationship to that source.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if there's something else going on there, because I was attempting to open my heart completely to this, what I was hoping and choosing to be like benevolent, loving all that is, and thus be a vessel for that to continue to flow through me and assist.
But you already are. So you already have that. You've already had that. You've already been in that energy, and on a certain level you are in that energy.
Yeah.
So the belief that you need to open is kind of blocking the openness that's already there. So you already have that. So let's kind of embrace that you already have it. And the fact that you have opened up, and the word that comes to me that's connected with that is kind of surrender to the divine.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that you don't take action anymore. So just kind of open this up further for you. But you're already there. Wow. Okay. So anyway, so I think that the best thing to do right now, so we don't take a whole lot of time on this, is just do an energy healing for everyone on the physical level. So everyone on the call right now, direct your attention to one thing in your life that you would like healing for right now. And for the vast majority of you, it will be something physical inside your body, but it doesn't have to be. It can be healing for your bank account, it could be healing for your dog or whatever. But ideally, it'd be something in you. And just going to do a little energy work here in order to make it possible for healing to happen, probable for healing to happen, make you aware that you are allowed to have healing and that it's safe for you to heal and that you're worthy of healing and that you don't need whatever this pain is in your life. There are no hidden benefits to the thing that needs to be healed. Just want to flood all that energy in. So please accept and receive some healing energy for whatever you're focused on. And your job right now is to feel the joy of not having that condition anymore. Just imagine what life would be like without that condition. Rather than getting into the pain of what it feels like to have it and wanting it to be gone, we want to savor the joy of it not being there at all, because that's the energy we want to radiate. Beautiful. And everyone take a deep breath and hold it for a moment and release when you're ready. Okay. Well, thank you, Miriam.
Thank you. So this belonging thing is something that, if it's still there, we could address in a one-on-one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you.
And Monica.
Yeah. Thank you, Miriam. Much love. And yeah, thank you very much, Patrick, for the guidance and also the energy clearance. And we have a question from Elfried on YouTube. At this time in my life, is it okay, sufficient to just be? And or is there another way to share my gifts?
Yeah. So I think that ideally you'll be both in an energetic pattern of being and doing, but you don't have to do everything and you don't have to do all the time. That you simply being you is enough to create a change in the world. And therefore, you don't need to be driven to fix things everywhere when you see a problem. Now, that doesn't mean that you're being selfish, doesn't mean that you're being lazy. It simply means that you are packaging your energy in a new way. And if somebody has need, if somebody comes to you with a problem, you still respond. You still share your energy with them and help them figure out what the problem is and do some healing on them. But you're not compelled to do it anymore. It's not your responsibility to do it anymore. And in fact, by you simply being a radiant energy of unconditional love or joy or whatever it is you want to broadcast, you are in fact sharing healing energy with anyone and everyone who is willing to absorb it. So yeah, it's not like you go from one state to another. It's very much like in Buddhism. The question is, what do you do before you have enlightenment? Well, you chop wood and carry water. What happens after enlightenment? You chop wood and carry water, but you have a different perspective. So you're still taking action, but you're not driven to take the action, and it's okay if you don't. Is that making sense?
Yeah, thank you. So Alfred, we'd love to hear your feedback. You can type it on the chat. And Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Let's see. We have Sue on the phone. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, Monisette. Hi, Patrick.
Hi,
Hi,
Sue.
Patrick. My
Hi.
name is. Part of my question, I almost have like two questions. The first one is, I am sight challenged, and Monisette knows the whole story. But anyway, I have lost some of my central vision, which I don't worry about anymore. I've let that go. What frustrates me, though, is you can already see it in me. If I go to a store or something, just because I don't have dark glasses on and I'm not carrying a cane or have a seeing eye dog, they think, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. So I'll go up to the counter and I want to do my thing. I say, excuse me, I'm sight challenged. I need some help. And they look at me like, really? And yet some people will help. Some people just look at me like, oh, crazy. And I'm like, whatever. So my girlfriend will help me out then. And I think what upsets me the most is everything now is Zoom and computer. If you can't read the computer, how are you supposed to operate on this computer? Okay? Like they say, oh yeah, some of these computers talk, but they don't do what you need them to do. So my husband is like my eyes right now. So that's why, thank goodness for Monisette, who gets it. That's why I can be on the phone, because I can do the *9 or whatever. I don't need my sight for that. But then I can talk and get some healing too. If I'm on a regular computer like other healers have, raise your hand. Sure I am. What, in air? And then it's like, and some of the programs know me and they still don't get it. Like, do you think I've changed overnight? My eyes have miraculously been seen. But the whole world is like this lately.
Yeah.
There's nothing really out there that for sight challenged people, even hearing impaired people,
Yeah.
any with any
So
ability.
let's do a little bit of energy work to create a because part of what's going on right now is you are in the energy of expectation of not being understood, and therefore
Right,
you're attracting to you more people who don't understand you. So if you're at the grocery store,
right.
there might be 5 people there who will check you out. 4 of them would
Uh-huh,
understand and they would help you out. But for some
right.
reason, you're gravitating towards the 5th one who won't help you. So there's this energetic pattern that there's this very legitimate issue that needs to be addressed, but for
Right.
some reason there's an expectation that it will not be addressed, and therefore you're attracting people who don't understand you, look at you like you're crazy, and so forth. So that's the first thing I want to clear away with you while we're here, so that when you go to the grocery store from this point on, you always get into the line where the compassionate person who understands will help you out. When you go to a radio program, you will always connect with the host like you are today, who is
Mm-hmm.
understanding and is willing to work with you rather than others who don't. So we want that situation where you connect with somebody who understands, not to be an, oh my God, this is a miraculous event. This is 1 in a million. I'm so happy this happened. That's a nice energy to have, but we don't want that to be the regular state. So
Right,
from now
right.
on, when we do this energy shift, you will begin to attract to you, and you will be drawn towards people who understand and help you out. Or if you
Oh,
do happen to get into line with that one person who refuses to understand that you're telling the truth, there will be
mm-hmm.
somebody in line behind you who will step in and help you out. So it's all about like the energy that you're radiating, attracting to you the type of
Uh-huh.
person you want to interact with in your life. And let's do this for everyone, because we all have people that rub us the wrong way or annoy us or whatever, and we tend to attract them. People who do our
Yeah.
pet peeves gravitate towards us. So
And you know where it happens most?
Where?
When I go to the eye doctor, nobody will help me there. And I'm at an eye doctor.
Yeah, that's weird.
And yet I could go to the other places. They help me out because they know I have a problem.
Yeah.
Now, what's up with that?
Yeah, but something led you to go to that specific eye doctor rather than a different one. So you want to clear that away.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's all in the expectations. Yeah. Okay. And then hopefully when we did the energy healing earlier, you directed that energy towards your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And,
well, mainly I did it to my knee because right now my knee is having a big issue. And
okay.
I was thinking of my eyes though also. But you
Yeah,
said pick
so
one thing. So
pick one. Yeah. So listen again and redo it.
okay.
Okay, beautiful. So take a deep breath and hold and release when you're ready.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That I understand now. But my one quick question: what do I do though if I want to watch programs and they only have Zoom? I can't.
Yeah, it's
When I'm like, it isn't around.
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that's where it's like society thinks everybody's just, or like what I crack up the most is, well, now read this. I'm like, really? Okay, sure.
Well, so
I just start laughing more because it's pathetic.
So the sad thing is, unfortunately, in the society as it is right now with this, people invested in the old way of doing things, digging in their heels and wanting like this pure three-dimensional experience. That what you're describing is actually getting worse before it gets better. There's a whole swath of people in the country who think that it's woke to help somebody like you, and woke is bad, and empathy is the worst thing that you can have. So unfortunately, there's a movement right now that's kind of growing, but there are still pockets of energy out there that are loving and supportive, and there may be tools available for you there. So yeah, I know we can't. It's hard to change third parties. It's hard to make people who think that empathy is somehow inherently wrong open their eyes. In fact, they're not even going to open their eyes because literally opening their eyes is waking up, and woke is bad. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It's sad. I'm with you there.
I know I'm on my ascension journey.
Yeah,
am I still progressing on that? Because I had a life and death experience through gallbladder surgery.
Yeah. We should probably talk about this individually.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But the thing is, you're on your journey.
Sure that I'm on the right path for ascension.
Well, that's why we need to talk individually, because that whole concept of the right path is a big topic. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But thank you for that energy clearing for the frustration. It'll help next time I go out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And blessings to you.
Yeah,
and thank you, Monisset, for everything you do for me. And blessings to you also, and lots of love.
Thank you. Thank you, Sue. And also thank you, Patrick, for the guidance. And I just want to mention something for Sue. Like even other hosts, if they don't give you like phone numbers, like all Zoom accounts, they have the same phone numbers. Like you can use the same one you are using here. It's just if you can ask your husband to submit the meeting code instead of mine, it will be there, the others. So yeah. And so Patrick, again, thank you for the guidance, for the support.
Thank you. This has been fun.
Yeah. I really loved the discussion. It was really inspiring, and I always love how you approach these subjects. Always you give us a new perspective and a deeper understanding about the energetics and also the physical aspects of of the spiritual subject. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And also thank you for the program you are offering to our audience. Yeah, so everyone, thank you very much for being here with us today, for sharing with us your beautiful energies, whether you joined the live call or on the replay. And thank you for everyone who asked the questions, for the comments. And yeah, I just want to read the feedback. We received the feedback from Elfried on YouTube. Yes, thank you, Patrick. What you shared makes sense. That was the question you answered before. And yeah, so again, everyone, you can find and sign up for the program that Patrick is offering to us on the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Patrick, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Patrick, PATRICK. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so with that, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.